In fact, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and take a look at those overhead monitors. Here to give us a setup for the scene we're shooting today is director, producer, Michael Bay. Let's provide actors like Chris with a proper motivation. Hey, Chris, here comes the setup. Now, once the scene starts, when I tell you to, you're going to pick up that phone. As you pick it up, 800 gallons of water will come out of those dump tanks, fly down the chute, and slam into you like a freight train. Do you feel motivated to hold on, Chris? Good choice. What Chris doesn't know is that we're actually dumping 1,000 gallons of water on him. There's a thin line between fear and motivation. Can I get some playback, please? All right, Chris, remember, your engines have just been shot out. And action, look to your left, look to your right. Now pick up that phone, Chris. Keep talking into it. Keep talking and hold on tight. Keep talking and cut. Ladies and gentlemen, that's why it's called a physical effect. Give me a round of applause. You did a good job, and do me a big favor. Remain seated and try to act dry. Now we'll take that shot, we'll insert it to our next scene, and you'll see how it all ties together in the final sequence. Our next scene is going to take place on the deck of our PT boat, so we go back to Charlie, meet the rest of our brave crew.
Today we have Captain Katie and our brave deck crew here, that is Marco and Theus. The cast is on the set, the crew is standing by.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Could I get some more playback, please? Thank you. All right. Captain, crew, remember, you're on a surveillance mission. And action. Captain, you hear planes coming in the distance. Look to the sky and find those planes for me. There are enemy fighters coming from 10 o'clock. That's your left, Captain. We're stunned in your serious tone because we're coming around for another run. Captain, get that PT boat out of there. Spin the wheel. Crew, stop cleaning. We're under attack. Panic. Too late, Captain. They shot at your engine. Call your mechanic. Use your phone. Crew, drop the cleaning supplies. Run to the right side of the boat and look out into the water. Good job, crew. Good job. Now, go ahead and set the phone down, Captain. Now, you all start to relax. Take a deep breath. Look around. And then you hear more planes coming in the distance. You look to the sky and you see enemy bombers coming at 12 o'clock. That's the very front of the boat. Captain, crew, bombs away. Hit the deck. You survived the aerial attack. However, there are 2 more torpedoes coming at you. They come hard at the stern, but they pass underneath the boat. So you point to the audience and you yell in your loudest voice, "Look out!" And cut! Ladies and gentlemen, another big round of applause for our captain and deck crew. Now we'll take both of those scenes and we'll edit them together along with some computer-generated imagery, some pre-recorded lines of dialogue, and a rousing musical score. Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention, and your video cameras if you like, to the overhead monitors as we proudly present Harbor Attack.
Skipper, he's coming around for another run! Engine report. Both engines are gone! Torpedo, on the starboard!
Ladies and gentlemen, one more big round of applause for our entire crew and my assistant Charlie. Now they're going to follow Charlie to get dried off and rejoin the tour in a moment. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, you can all turn to your left, head down the lane, down the ramps, through the sliding glass doors, through the prop warehouse, and board the ship to the rest of the Disney-MGM Studios Backlot Tour. Once again,
Eiffel Tower. Take a look towards the front of the shuttle, then high in the sky, and that's where you'll find it. It stands a lucky 13 stories tall and is capped off with a pair of Mickey Mouse ears. Each one of those ears weighs over 2.5 tons. This water tower was designed after one that Walt Disney during the production of the movie. Any scene that you saw more than 16 planes in, well, the rest of them were CGI or computer-generated images. As we turn this corner, take a look to your left-hand side. You'll see a series of one-story beige buildings known as bungalows. They're used by the production crews for the everyday business of filming. Currently in Bungalow 3, we have Sheena, an action-adventure series starring Gene Lee Nolan. It's currently out in 84 countries around the world. It's the #1 show in its genre, but it's a syndicated show, so you'll want to check your local listings. Take one last look to your right, then high in the sky, get your last eyeful of the Eiffel Tower. This brings us into the most glamorous part of our tour. This is our award-winning creative costuming department. And it all begins with a designer sketch. You'll see those along the walls. Then our talented team of seamstresses and tailors go to work to create the costumes before we open the park to you, our guests. And since then, every house that you've seen here has been used in a different TV show, commercial, or special. But coming up on your left-hand side is by far our most famous house. For 7 seasons, this beige Hawaiian-style house was the home to Dorothy, Rose, Blanche, and Sophia, also known as the Golden Girls. The exterior shots were done here in Florida, then they were edited in with interior shots done out in Burbank, California, for a show set down in Miami. Right next door to the Golden Girls, you'll see a blue Cape Cod-style house. This was Alice's house for the Disney Channel's Adventures in Wonderland. It was also used for a TV show called Donna's Day that shows on the Hallmark Channel. Over on your right-hand side, the 2-story beige facade was used for Touchstone Television's hit sitcom Empty Nest, starring those wacky westerns. As you might notice, there are a lot of Christmas decorations here on Residential Street, and in just about 25 minutes or so, as soon as this attraction is completely closed down, you'll be able to experience the 6th annual Osborne Family Spectacle of Lights. There are over 5 million Christmas lights on this street. We're going to shut down the attraction so that you can walk up and down the street. The display will be open from 6 o'clock tonight until park close. You'll want to meet at Washington Square for that, and that's over on your left-hand side. One of the most popular things about the movies are the action-packed scenes. That's my favorite Martian. The miniature cattle car held Mighty Joe Young. And the military-style vehicles are from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. As we pass by the tank, take a look at its tread. You'll see that it's made of foam rubber instead of metal. It saved on the wear and tear on the actors like Harrison Ford and Sean Connery, who like to do their own stunts. The 2 mining cars are from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. The yellow forklift is from Bicentennial Man, starring Robin Williams. The next 5 props are from the award-winning Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We started off with Judge Doom's infamous Ditmobile, followed by an orange trolley car that was actually a modified city bus. It's got fiberglass coverings over its radial tires. And the 3 blue Plymouths are 3 of 7. These represent the different stages of destruction to Eddie Valiant's car when Roger Rabbit drove it through Toontown. The yellow helicopter is from the Universe of Energy over at Epcot. The blue cockpit is from Blue Thunder, starring Roy Scheider. The 2 planes are from the long flight speedboat is from Disney presents the 100 Lives of Blackjack Savage. The 2 space pods are from Starship Troopers. And down at the end, the large silver flight pod is Max from Flight of the Navigator. Take a look across the canal and you get a backstage view of Residential Street. You might notice that the architectural details like the shingles stop just out of the view of camera range. You see, we only build what the camera needs to film. It's an old Hollywood trick we like to call saving money. But we're approaching that large standing set where they've been filming the special effects. Looks like David's got permission from the crew to head on in. They should be done shooting for the day. It is a holiday and it is past 5 o'clock. It's very unusual for them to be here on a holiday, but they've been very, very busy working on some new effects. As we come into the set, we have to travel across a bumpy wooden bridge, so I'm just going to ask you to remain seated for me. Keep a tight grip on your personal belongings. If you drop them in here, we might not be able to get them back. That's a rather long time for one set, but when you consider how long it took Mother Nature to build, it's not so bad. Looks like I guess they're still here. Thanks, production crew. Now the green is rain, they use high-powered water spouts that are located at the top of the canyon, and they shoot the water out in a crisscross pattern to make it look like it's actually raining. But if you look up near the tanker truck, you'll see that it's staying completely dry. You see the camera only shoot. Green one, take two. Hey, production crew, I thought you guys were done for the day. Production crew, no. Not a stunt shuttle, guys. Not a stunt shuttle. These boats are not stunt doubles, and I'm a real tour guide, guys. Hey guys, knock it off. Everybody hang on. Canyon. Now, in just a moment, things will take us around the backside of the canyon, and I'll show you some more behind the scenes back. I'll say when you are, David. Right forward, back into position. Take one last look at this canyon, because just like everything else in our backlot, it's just a facade. When we turn the corner, you'll see that it's actually a steel frame covered in a wire mesh. Now, wire mesh is covered in a solid concrete that's been hand-carved to resemble the natural rock formation. The small yellow plane scared the guy, and that was Walt Disney's personal plane. He used it to bring himself and his Imagineers over Florida. He was looking for what he called the Florida Project. That's what we now call the Walt Disney World Resort right here in Orlando. He also used that plane to go from California to New York in 1964. He was heading up to the World's Fair where he premiered such attractions. They're just painted on flats. The real Empire State Building stands over 100 stories tall, and ours, it's just a little over 4. But this does bring us to the last stop on our tour. It's the American Film Institute Showcase. Currently on display, we have Dressed to Thrill, fashionable women's clothing from the Golden Era. You will remain seated for me until the shuttle comes to a complete stop. Once the shuttle has stopped, wait for the doors to open and head on out past those blue poles through the blue sliding glass doors, as this is your one and only entrance stop at the berth. On behalf of our fabulous driver, David, my name is Melissa. I'm on the dock is David.